What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. For the first time in a long time, I am talking about the NFL. I'm covering the Pittsburgh Steelers 2018-2019 season. I hope you guys will come back every Sunday to watch my Steeler reviews, my player standouts, all the different football coverage that I have. It seems like you guys enjoyed the football coverage last season, so I'm back here. And the first video of this season, Football Focus, is focusing on the Steelers' 53-man roster, which has got to be done by, I believe, tomorrow at 12 or 1 p.m. They are cutting the roster down from 90 to 53, and I'm going to go position by position, player by player, and break down who did what in the preseason and who should be on the final roster. I watched all 4 preseason games, I studied a lot of the tape, and now I'm going to break down by position who is kept, who is cut, and who's on the bubble. So if you guys want entire team breakdown, here we go. I'll try and make it brief. I have my computer, my trusted computer out right in front of you guys here, so I don't miss anybody, so I can look up every single player on the team and talk about briefly what they've done and the spots on the team that are open coming into the roster in this 2018-2019 season. So first things first, quarterback position. The Steelers currently have 4. They barely ever keep 4. They haven't kept 4 since like 95. They're going to probably keep 3 in my opinion. Roethlisberger obviously is the starter. Landry Jones is not my favorite. You guys know how I feel about him, but I think he, being the veteran guy, is the backup here. And then we have the second-year player in Josh Dobbs and the rookie in Mason Rudolph. Rudolph being picked in a second round as a second-round quarterback with a first-round grade. I think Rudolph stays at the number 3 spot. So it's Roethlisberger, Landry Jones, and Mason Rudolph. Personally, I'd cut Landry myself, and I would keep Dobbs. But I think what's going to happen is Dobbs gets cut here and may even wind up being traded because he showed a lot of value in that 4th preseason game. He had a very good preseason and an excellent game, even though he was playing against third stringers last night in the 4th game. So I think Dobbs is the one that's cut or traded here, and we stick with Roethlisberger and Jones and Rudolph. As far as running backs go, let me just scroll down and make sure I get everybody. Obviously, the starter is the best running back in the league, Le'Veon Bell. James Conner, the second-year player, is his incumbent at the number 2 running back spot. I think Jalen Samuels, the rookie, had a very good camp. I think he looked good in preseason. Solid ball carrier, solid blocker. He can play fullback. He can catch the ball out of the backfield better than a lot of our backs can. I think Jalen Samuels played himself into a roster spot here. I think he's the number 3 running back on the team. And they're gonna keep a 4th one for right now, just till Le'Veon Bell officially signs his contract. So I think the 4th one they keep is veteran Stephen Ridley, who looked pretty good this preseason. I like him as a good veteran backup. But once Le'Veon Bell signs, I think Ridley is gone. So I think we're looking at Bell is the starter, Connor is the 2nd string, Jalen Samuels is 3rd string, and then I think Toussaint is gone. Finally, I think Ridley's gone. James Summers, Jarvion Franklin, I think both those guys are gone as well. They didn't do enough to impress and stay on the roster. But you might see Stephen Ridley signed by somebody down the road, or if we get like an injury or something. Ridley, I think, had a pretty good preseason, but just not enough depth to keep him there. But I think at fullback, obviously, Roosevelt Nix is our fullback, and Jalen Samuels can play some fullback as well. So we have a good backup fullback in Samuels that can play on short yardage downs or small pass catching downs, stuff like that. For the wide receivers, let me get down to the wide receiver section here. I think we're keeping probably 5 or 6. Obviously, Antonio Brown, best in the game. Juju Smith-Schuster is the number 2 wide receiver. James Washington had an excellent preseason, the rookie. He's going to be our slot guy. He showed up big time as a deep threat downfield. He's going to be our number 3 guy. Eli Rogers right now is on the PUP list, so he won't come back until week 7, 8, something like that. He's injured, but he's got some veteran presence. He knows the system now. He's a good slot guy as well. He can be our number 4 once he gets healthy. But for now, it's Brown, it's Juju, it's Washington, and I think Justin Hunter is the number 4. I think he did a lot to stay on this team. He had a great preseason, great game 3, good game 4. He's tall, he's lanky, he gets downfield. He just has to stay on the field and get enough opportunities. But I think he's going to be a good veteran number 4 for us, as Ben likes big targets down the field. Number 5, I think Darius Hayward-Bay sticks around, even though I think I would cut him if it was my opinion. I would let go of Hayward-Bay as the 5th receiver, and I would keep Damone Patterson. I think he played excellent this preseason. I like him on end arounds. I like him down the field as a deep threat. I think he has good hands. I think he's fast. He's the guy that I would keep. and let go of Hayward Bay. Hayward Bay is a fast receiver, but doesn't have great hands. He is good for 1 or 2 deep plays throughout the season, like an end around or a deep ball down the field. He's good for a couple of plays, but doesn't do much outside of that. I think you know what you have with him. I think Patterson has a much higher upside. But I think several of our receivers go to the practice squad. So I think that Kadri Henderson maybe as a returner, Damone Patterson, Trey Griffey. I think all 3 of those guys go to the practice squad. Marcus Tucker, I think, is cut. Tevin Jones had a great 4th preseason game, but I think it's too little too late. I think he's cut. So, yeah, I think we have our 5 wide receivers, and then they're going to keep Ryan Switzer, who they just signed as a return guy. He looked pretty explosive in brief moments last night. He's the return guy for special teams, but I think he also is going to wind up being the 6th listed receiver. He won't get in for receiving plays, but he's fast and he can return. So he's the 6th guy we keep there. So that's our 6-man wide receiver roster. Tight end is the hardest one to call because we have several injuries at tight end right now. Obviously, the starter is Vance McDonald, who's been injured lately, and hopefully it's not too serious. Obviously, the backup is Jesse James. And for the 3rd stringer, it's been... let me go down here, I'm sorry. For the 3rd stringer, it's been Xavier Grimble for quite a long time now, but he's been really hurt and has not played much in this preseason, if at all. And Bucky Hodges really stepped up big time and did a lot of the things that Xavier can do. He's athletic. He's pretty fast for a tight end. He's got pretty solid hands. He got separation last night. He got open. He made a few downfield blocks and effort plays. He looked really good. So the thing is, behind Vance and Jesse now, do you keep Xavier Grimble, who's injured, at 3rd tight end, or do you bring in a new guy in Bucky Hodges? I think they bring in Bucky Hodges. I'm going to have Bucky taking Xavier's spot at 3rd tight end this time, even though I'm not so sure about it. But we have Christian Scotland Williamson. I think he's gone. Pharaoh McKeever is gone. And I think that's it. Those are our 3 tight ends. Looking at the offensive line, let me go up here to the offensive line. We have Okorafor, the young rookie. He was pretty solid. Obviously, your starters on the offensive line. Sorry, it's like I'm trying to scroll through here. The offensive line starters, obviously, we have Villanueva, Marcus Gilbert, obviously, are starting. I think Matt Filer fills in as one of the backups. I think Okorafor fills in as one of the backups. Let me go to the tackles now, the guards. It's hard to get through this part of the thing here. I don't think RJ Prince or Zach Banish stays. Those guys are gone. Let's go up to the center position. Obviously, you guys know Pouncey is our guy. I think Olamole and Patrick Morris are gone as well. So you have the same 5 starters as you had last year. Okorafor, BJ Finney, and who else I said to fill in. So 8 total offensive linemen. Everybody else is gone. Now going to the defensive linemen. I don't like the way it's set up here. Obviously, the defensive line starters, Cam Hayward, the All-Pro, Stephon Tuitt, the All-Pro, and the ever-improving athletic Javon Hargrave. Those 3 are your 3 main starters. I like Levon Hooks, and I think he did enough to make the team. He had really good pressure. He had some good blow-up plays in the middle. I know he's been a journeyman kind of thing. He's been, I think he was on the practice squad last year. I think he deserves to be on the team this year. I hope that he makes that roster. I think he has more to offer than LT Walton. I know Walton's kind of more the veteran. I think it's his 4th or 5th year now. He's been around for a while and hasn't done much. I don't see a lot of potential in him. Tyson Alualu obviously is going to be a backup who fills in a lot on the D-line. So, I mean, I think you have 4 defensive ends that stay on the team this year. You have Cam, you have Tuitt, you have Hooks, and you have Tyson Alualu. I think those are your 4 DNs. I don't think Walton stays. Obviously, playing linebacker, you're going to get some linemen down there as well. As far as defensive tackle, in the middle, I don't think Dan McCullers stays this year. I think Hooks or somebody else can fill in for him there. McCullers has been around for 5 seasons now. This is his 6th year. I don't think he's done a whole lot. He's a big guy that takes up a lot of space but doesn't make a ton of tackles. He is athletic for his size, but outside of being big, he just kind of fills gaps. He doesn't really get to his spots that much. He doesn't make a whole lot of splash plays. So I think you can fill in with somebody else there. Joshua Frazier, I think he's a practice squad guy. He showed small glimpses but didn't do enough to make a spot on the team, so I think he's gone. Casey Sales, I think, is gone as well. I don't think he did enough as well. And then Parker Cothran didn't do enough as well to be on the team. So I think you have your two guys there in Hooks and in Hargrave. Now looking at the linebackers, I think they're all listed as just linebacker here instead of outside or inside. Your starters, obviously, TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Vince Williams, and John Bostic. I like all four of those guys. Bostic is a short tackler as long as he's healthy. I think he's going to add a lot of veteran presence and short tackling to this team. I think Vince Williams obviously is a great tackler and shows up big time. I like him a lot. TJ Watt's got a ton of potential, had a great rookie season. I like him a lot. And Bud Dupree, I think, is due for a breakout season to be one of the leaders on this defense this year, and I hope he gets it. So those four are your main starters, obviously. Looking at the rest, Keon Adams, I think, was solid. I like what he came in and did this year. Had a big turnover yesterday. I think he did enough to make the team, just by a little bit. So I think we're going to see Keon Adams now in his second season finally getting a chance to stay healthy and play. Matthew Thomas made some big plays this preseason. He was the talk of the camp. He was one of the big breakout stars of the camp. Had a pretty good preseason. I like him a lot. I think he makes the roster. And then Ola Adeniyi, I think he makes the roster. He had a very good pass rush, good explosiveness as a rookie, showing a lot of veteran presence for a young guy. I think he makes the roster as well. So we're looking there at those seven linebackers to make the roster. Keith Kelsey didn't do enough to me. Farrington Henegwin, I didn't even see him play much. Matt Galambos, I think, is gone. LJ Fort, I don't see a ton in him. I don't see a lot of special teams. I don't see a lot of breakthrough. I think he does a lot on preseason games and kind of like backup roles. He might be someone to fill in, get a practice squad or a late season replacement for injury, but I don't see a lot in LJ Fort. Tyler Medikevich will stay on the team. He's a local guy out of Temple, obviously. Special teams, he gets down the field a lot, makes a lot of plays for special teams. I like him as a good backup as well, so I think he's the 8th linebacker to stay on this team. I like Medikevich. And then Anthony Chickalo is another one. He's kind of like in that Medikevich and Fort role. Is he going to be enough? He's been around now this is his 5th season. He's been around for quite a bit now. He makes just enough plays to stay relevant and stay on the team, but you don't hear his name much. He doesn't do a whole lot. He doesn't screw up too badly either, but he's just kind of there. I think he makes the team as a veteran presence. I think he is the 9th linebacker on the team. So I think he's in there as well and fills in spots. So I think we keep 9 linebackers. We have the 4 starters and the 5 guys on the bench. I really want to see if Ola or if Matthews, Ola, Keon Adams, and Matthew Thomas. I want to see what those 3 young guys can bring to the table and if they can replace some of these old veteran guys like Fort, Medikevich, guys that haven't done a whole lot but have been around for a while. Now we're looking at the secondary, finally. For the last position of the day. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll around and make sure I get every name on this roster listed here. As far as cornerbacks, obviously you guys know veteran Joe Hayden is our number 1. Third-year player Artie Burns, who had a big rookie season and kind of fell back a little bit last year, but I still like him. He's our number 2. Solid slot corner and good blitzer. For number 3, Mike Hilton is obviously going to be our nickel corner. As far as the dime corner, a couple of guys were battling for that 4th corner spot, and that is Cody Sensabaugh. Make sure I get everyone here. Cody Sensabaugh, Cam Sutton, and Brian Allen. I think those 3 guys are fighting for that 4th dime corner spot. I think Sensabaugh did more in the preseason. Both guys showed glimpses. Both guys got burned a little bit too, but both guys showed glimpses. A little inconsistent, but I think Sensabaugh is your 4, Sutton is your 5, and then do they keep number 6? Do they keep Brian Allen? That's kind of hard to say. I think he does stay in there, maybe in some blitz packages. I don't think you'll see him play much this year, but I think 6 corners feels like a lot to me, but they have a lot of good depth. The first 3 guys are going to be in there. I think Sensabaugh and Sutton will also be in there, and Allen at 6. That's going to be a really interesting one, but I say they keep him. I think he did just enough to come in there in his 3rd year. But he could be a practice squad guy. They could keep those first 5 and cut Allen. So he's going to be on the bubble. As far as the safety help, I don't know if they're listed as safeties here. Is there anybody else that I missed? Yes, Malik Reeves, I didn't see much out of him. Jamar Summers could be a practice squad rookie. I think he did okay, but not enough. I think he'll be a practice squad guy. Deshaun Phillips in his 4th year, I think he could be a practice squad guy. Didn't do enough to make the team. And then looking at safeties for the final position, obviously our 2 starters are Sean Davis, also in his 3rd year, had a big rookie year, just like Artie Burns kind of fell back a little bit last year, but he's our starter on one side. On the other side, veteran Morgan Burnett, much like the linebacker Bostic, Burnett is a short tackler, veteran presence, ball seeker, physical guy. I like him a lot. I think he's going to bring a lot to the table and shore up a lot of the defense and allow guys like Hilton and Sean Davis to blitz a little more and do a little more things. So those 2, Burnett and Davis, are our starters. Terrell Edmonds had a great preseason. I really enjoyed him. He played much better than I expected him to. He's going to be a guy that can blitz. He can ball hawk. He's a physical guy. Hopefully he just doesn't get burnt or have problems with his size like he did at times in college. But he can play in the linebacker spots. He can drift back and do some coverage. He's physical. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a good backup safety for us. And then you have Nat Burhay. He got signed in the offseason. He's another guy. Maybe a little undersized at 5'11", but does find the ball, makes some plays on special teams. That's kind of why he was brought in. So I think he makes the roster on veteran presence and being diverse enough. He can fill in if there's an injury, and he can play special teams as well. So I think Nat Burhay is the 4th safety that is kept for this team. And then Marcus Allen, the rookie. I liked what I saw of him in his brief action. He didn't play with a lot of the starters or whatever, but I think he had his good moments. He's the guy on the bubble now as the 5th safety. Do you keep this guy? Do you let him go? Do they want to go with Jordan Dangerfield instead? Do they want to go with local guy Malik Golden instead? There's a couple of guys vying for that 5th and final safety spot. So I'm looking. I think Marcus Allen goes to the practice squad and maybe gets called up later in the season if there's a spot for him. So Marcus Allen, I think, is out, even though I'd rather see him in. I think they might keep Jordan Dangerfield as the 5th safety. Malik Golden is cut. But Jordan Dangerfield is a guy they've had in the practice squad for a couple years now. He makes special teams preseason plays. I don't see much in him. I'd let go of Dangerfield and keep Marcus Allen personally, but it seems like Dangerfield, if there's going to be a 5th safety, he'll be the one that stays, but he may be cut along with Golden and Marcus Allen as well. So what do you guys think? Breakdown position by position. Who do you guys think makes this team? Do we keep 6 receivers? Do we keep 4 quarterbacks? Do we keep a veteran running back? What do you think about the tight end, the 3rd-string tight end situation with the injuries? How many corners and safeties make the team? Do some of those rookies creep in? As far as the linebackers, do you think some of the younger, impressive guys will take the spots of the old veterans that are holding down spots? Or will the rookies be cut or put on practice squad? So who do you think makes the team? Who really impressed you in preseason? What did you guys think of our preseason run? And who stood out to you? Tell me all these things in the comments down below, guys. I know this video is super long, but I wanted to go break down every single player in preseason and give my thoughts on who makes the roster and who's on the bubble. So you guys tell me in the comments below, how well did I do and what are you looking forward to of these players in the Steelers season? So until next time, guys, I'll be back in about a week with my first Week 1 Steeler game review, and I will talk about the breakdowns for what I expect this season and the win and loss prediction. I'll do a predictions video where I predict each game, win and loss, and predict the Steelers record. So tell me in the comments what you guys think. Until next Football Focus, guys, thank you, and I'll see you soon.